bastards. Hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him! Why did I wait? Shit, 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 shit. Climb, climb, climb! Why did I wait so long to get a PS3? This is awesome. Shit, it's Tuesday. Shit, I'm in my underwear. Intro sequence!
These poets are amazing. Someone getting your inside joke, amazing. Getting invited anywhere, amazing. My friends are amazing.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube. I am Joe Atticus Inch, and welcome to this week's episode of Poet Love. Excuse my appearance. Yeah, I finally moved into the 21st century gaming, got a PS3. Figure once the PS4 comes out, all the games will drop dramatically in prices, and a poor boy like me can finally afford some. It doesn't mean I haven't been playing any good ones. But I must not keep my video duties a secret, and today is very special for many reasons. One, because you know what time it is.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And two, this local poet is very special to me in the sense of how or why I got into poetry. Mike, wonder when my hand-eye coordination is going to kick back in. Mike Spike Cowell. Now, Spike is a Columbus native who has been a frequent staple of the Columbus poetry scene via his poetry and just his appearance personally. He's represented Columbus at 3 National Poetry Slams, helped coach the Righting Wrongs team that made it to the final stages, the Nationals, in 2011. And you know, he's got chapbooks. Here's one of his that I believe I have on Sundays. He has another one called Sawdust. And he's also, when he's not writing poetry, a very talented woodworker, making some very unique and incredible things such as these. Yes, you saw those right, ladies and gentlemen. Why is Spike so important to me? As corny as that sounds. For one, he's the thing that made me. This sounds bad, but the first time I went to my first open mic, myself and my friends I with were the only white people in the room. That didn't discourage me. I read, a friend of mine read, and it was a very good night, though. A poet talk about CP time did take a little understanding to understand. But the second time I went, that was the first time I experienced it. It was a good experience. There were good people. That's where I met a couple people who have been very influential to me in the scene and in my poetry altogether. But because I was in school at the time, high school, senior in high school, that seems so long ago. That it was hard for me to get back out. And when I finally did get back out, one of the first people who were in the brownstone, which was where uh, Black Pearl was at the time. First person I noticed was Spike. This very tall, lanky, mohawked guy, white guy, and I believe that's the first time I heard "Pussy." That was the first big poem that I remember Spike being known for. And it was great. It's a good poem. I understand why he doesn't do it anymore. It got played out. Not, I don't want to say played out. It was that overexposure thing where he's like, you hear it so often, you want to hear something new. But Pussy was a good poem, not in the sense that it was hysterical, but the fact it actually, I never really thought beforehand of, because being the bullied child that I was growing up, Pussy was one of the common names people called me. Um, the fact to use it as a strong term and the vagina is as a, I don't know why I never realized the vagina is a strong thing with everything that it goes through. Um, his, and the fact that, the lines from it, it's like, I, I'd be Eve Ensler's pussy. I'd be Susan B. Anthony's pussy. I'd be I'd be my own kind of pussy. I smell like mosh pit must 3 bands deep, and I wouldn't open for any douche. That's fantastic. And that the thing about Spike's work is he has this silliness to it. This, how the hell do you come up with something like this? Greatness to it of why I won't introduce you to my mother. Um, Spike, I know, doesn't have a lot of poems on, but, Pussy, Why I Won't Introduce You to My Mother, these were some of his first ones. On Sundays, what the chapbook here is, it's a great poem. Uh, Stuck for a while was, he creates these quirky situations in his poems that you actually can imagine happening to someone like Spike if you get to know him. And that brings up to second thing. It wasn't only Spike's poetry that attracted me to him when I was coming back, but he was, I went up nervously, as I tend to do, to someone I don't know, and he did the poem. I said I really enjoyed it, and he complimented me on the poem, and he was just a really nice guy. And when I started becoming a regular, Spike was always the first one who was one of the first people I truly connected with and developed a friendship in this poetry scene of Columbus that I was getting very addicted to. And the big thing that makes Spike special to me is I would have never even thought about slamming if it wasn't for Spike. I always love to tell this story. It was the New Year's Eve show, which is funny because we talked about Mike McGee last week. And the New Year's Eve show with Robbie Q. Telfer and Mike McGee. It was the New Year's Eve show. And we were at this place called Club Ice at the time, which, though we had some good times, there was some drama behind the curtains. But we were in the back room stage area, and Ed Mabry, who we'll get to sooner or later, comes out on stage, opens up the night. First thing he says, management's told us, open bar. Just tip your waitresses, but everything's free. And the funny thing is, I was 18 at the time, but I went up and ordered a White Russian and got it. I didn't drink much. I had the White Russian. I think I had a shot of something. That was about it. But Spike took full advantage of it. And I did a poem. Spike, I don't know if you did a poem, but it was after a good night, and I was saying my goodbyes. And Spike, in his little drunken silliness, put his hand on my shoulder and said, Atticus, I would give up my spot on the team. I would gladly give up my spot on the team for you. And being still somewhat new to the scene, that kind of recognition went to my head because I had this guy who I knew was a good person, became a good friend of mine, tell me he thought I was a better writer than him, and he still fucking does it. So, like here, I'll show you. Atticus, stop being a better writer than me. I mean it. I'm watching you, Spike. Dude's a fucking liar, but he knows how to stroke an ego. And it was at that point I thought, okay, maybe I'll try slamming it now. 5 years later, there's been not really any success to it, but I still keep trying because I know, like, Spike was the first person to show me what kind of support, was one of the first people to show me what kind of support the Columbus poetry scene had. You know, his support of me and my work and just being a good guy to me has been just as important to me and made me look up to him as an influence than being, just a great poet. That's one of the reasons one of the things I try to get out while doing this show. So I think Spike is one of the best examples of not only being a great poet, but just a good person. And that means just as much to me as being a good writer. And so, yeah, that is all I think I can say about Spike. Check out, you can look on Facebook, look up for Spike Kia if you want to purchase any of the wonderful woodworking stuff he does. You can also find his you can find him more sporadically than usually at Writing Wrongs Poetry on Tuesday nights at the Ruby Tuesday on Summit Street. And just come meet this nice guy. I mean, we disagree on things, but he's still a good guy. And that before this episode gets too sappy, let's go into the magic shoebox. Pick out the name next week. Yes! Someone again who I truly love. I'm Joe Atticus, and reminding you to live long and prosper, keep them pens moving, and I will see you next week.